Welcome to another episode of the In Due Time podcast, and I am your host, Mr. Anthony J. Ray. Today's episode is special for a couple of different reasons. Today's episode is my 19th episode, and it's the Raydeeant Media's second annual year-end music review and culture wrap-up show 2020. It is also the In Due Time podcast first birthday. Today, I launched my very first episode on December 30th, 2019, and it was the Raydeeant Media year-end music review for 2019. And from there, I started launching more podcast episodes throughout the season. And we have now come upon the 19th episode, and I will be wrapping up the season with the season finale and the 20th episode on December 31st at 12 p.m. So today's episode, I will have guest host Miss Tarvorshae Jones. Tarvorshae has been a field correspondent on a couple of my episodes throughout the season, and she will be giving me her 2020 list of various topics and categories for the wrap-up show. So stay tuned, and we look forward to another season of enjoyable podcast episodes. Thank you. Ms. Jones, welcome to the Raydeeant Media second annual year-end music review and culture wrap-up show 2020.
Hi, yay. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, all that good stuff.
Appreciate it. You know, you've been an integral part of the growth and maturation of this podcast. So it's only fitting that I had you on as my guest because you had such you probably were the only person that commented on last year's review. So I want
Really?
yo yeah, you gave me you gave me some good music that I did not have on my list that I should have had on my list, and it made me do a deeper dive into um what I wanted to bring to this year's show.
Oh, you're too kind. But I mean, that's nothing. We have chop up sessions like that all the time. So
No
I'm
doubt, no
happy to
doubt,
oblige.
no doubt, no doubt. I um I felt like this was a good year in music despite us not having a normal promotional tour that we normally would get from a lot of different artists.
Yep.
You know, you didn't get concerts, you didn't get radio runs. You know, radio runs this year were all done via Zoom. So I mean, like it limited to what we really could get from the artist, but what I thought it brought back to um the industry was we got a lot of good music and a lot of good musicianship, and we got a lot of creativity.
I agree. So do should I be on the screen? Because I don't see myself.
I see you.
All I see is the backdrop, which I'm cool with if that's what we're doing.
Oh yeah, I see you. I see you.
But I don't see me.
Keep talking though.
Okay. All right. Because I want to make sure I'm not looking crazy.
You ain't looking crazy. You ain't looking
All right.
crazy.
All righty. So I'm ready when you are, Ray. So what you been up to? I really wanted to wear, today I got on my shirt to say, nah, I'm good. I really wanted to wear my Vogue shirt. So just so, even though I don't have my Vogue shirt, I just want to put a plug out. January 1st, 2021, we go back, Georgia, we go back and we do it. We handle our business and we go back and we get the right people in office and we take back the Senate and we do what we need to be done. So vote, vote, vote.
I highly second that movement. I know we talking about music and cultural wrap up show, but what we have noticed is politics has been a bigger part of the culture for 2020, and I'm a second that notion with Ms. Jones and encourage everybody to get out there and exercise your right to vote on January 5th. You can get out there early voting. Please go out there and represent.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
We
right.
got to
Well,
do what we got to do.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started, get into this thing, man. I want you to see my graphic. Can you see my graphic? You see that orange screen on there?
I see the orange
All
screen.
right, here we go.
Oh. All
Top,
right, all
top,
right. I see you
top
coming
five
out the gate
podcasts.
swinging.
Yeah, give me your top five podcasts. I'm gonna let you run down your whole list of everything. Then I'm gonna go
Okay.
through mine after you do yours.
Okay. Well, I mean, of course, I'm not as prepared as Mr. Ray, but and of course, a shameless plug to the In Due Time podcast. Okay, it's one of my favorites,
I love
top
it. I love.
top six. So you know, I can't, be remiss if I didn't mention the In Due podcast.
Thank you. Thank
However,
you.
I will start, and I'll start with I am a big time podcaster, if that's a word. I really, really enjoy podcasting, or not making podcasting, or listening to podcasts. I listen to a lot of self help, documentary, crime, music, pop culture. So my podcast is a little bit of everything. So it was very, very difficult to pick top five. So I'll start with number five. I'll start with Bekari Sellers podcast. I made him number five because they kind of start late year, but it was a big one. I mean, I think he came out the gate swinging with the podcast that he did with Andrew Gillum. I want to say that was like one of my favorite podcasts. So Bekari's, he's a lawyer. He's from South Carolina. He's into politics. So, it's right up my alley. He talks about all the things I like to talk about. He had some of my fave, Angela Rye, Charlemagne, to name a few. So I follow Bekari very closely. Number four would be The Breakdown. I am Sean King. I'm a very big Sean King fan. So if there will be no Sean King disrespect tolerated. So if you're coming out here, you're going to disrespect Sean King, you got to go. But he has a podcast called The Breakdown. I love it. It's 20 minutes or less. It always talks about what's happening. Sean King get accused of a lot of things, but one thing that he is not a slacker. He is for the people. When I say he out here doing the work that needs to be done, I mean, the whole Ahmaud Arbery case, had Sean King not gotten his hand on that case, we would not be where we are now. Sean King has brought to light and shine light and use his platform to bring up a lot of important issues. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, just to name a few. I mean, the list is endless. He has done tons of work for the culture. So, like I said, no Sean King disrespect will be tolerated. Okay.
Air horn for Sean King. Air
Oh
horns for
yeah.
Sean King.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Number three, listen, y'all, I don't take myself too seriously, so please don't take me that serious. Number three, I am a big fan of Demetria Lucas, and I am a big fan of her Ratchet and Respectable podcast. She talks about everything, but I'm a very big fan of her. She talks about a lot of pop culture, what's happening. I like her weekly. She's very, I mean, sometimes she we don't always agree on things, but she talks about relationship, politics, reality TV, Netflix, you name it. So I'm very in tune into the Ratchet and Respectable. Number two, I made my Lovecraft Country, and I know it's like a seasonal podcast, but I was so enthralled into the Lovecraft Country series, HBO series. If you haven't watched it, you're doing yourself a disservice by not watching Lovecraft Country.
I agree with you entirely on that one because I did when I would watch the show, I would go to the podcast a lot of times to listen to like the breakdown, and it gave me a lot of insight on like directors information, like
The writers,
the writers, things of that nature.
what
Like
was happening in the writing room. So
I agree with you on that one entirely. I
yeah.
don't know if you, but Insecure used to do the same thing for their they show also. They had a break.
Really?
They had a breakdown podcast also.
Oh man, I missed that. Well, don't worry, I won't miss that anymore. And that's a fact. And then number one, like I said, I listen to a lot of crime. I'm very social injustices, like those things really, really grind my gears. So my number one podcast for 2020 is called In the Dark podcast, and there's several seasons, but this last season, the one that's on Curtis Flowers, absolutely broke my heart. I was on an emotional roller coaster. If you're not familiar with the Curtis Flowers story, he's a guy in Winona, Mississippi, which is like 50 miles from my hometown. I'm a Mississippi Magnolian. Okay. Been in Georgia for 20 years, but I'm originally from Mississippi. And this this criminal miscarriage of justice occurred 50 miles from my hometown. This was a guy named Curtis. He was 26 years old. He was convicted of a crime that he did not do. And there was this white prosecutor who's still the prosecutor who took him to trial 6 times. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. It was overturned in the Mississippi State Supreme Court twice. And it went to the Supreme Court. And every time he took him to prison, man, I can do a whole podcast on that podcast. So let me just pipe down because we got some more to go.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to check that one out. But we're gonna move on to our next category, which is
What we got?
top 5 Netflix.
Now, this one was also very hard for me because due to the pandemic, for months, all we could do is work, Netflix, and chill. So I watched a boatload of stuff on Netflix.
Me too.
So it was very difficult to narrow it down to like 5 things. So mine is like movies and docuseries and stuff like that. So
you got a mixture like I do.
Yeah, I have a mixture. So mine is just like, so I'll start with honorable mention. Like I have 5, but I would be remiss if I did not mention the Hollywood series. I really, Ryan Murphy did an excellent job with the Hollywood. It was a little cheesy, but I liked it because when I started doing my own little research, a lot of those stories, the storylines that was in that series were actually true storylines. So I totally enjoyed that. Number 5 would be The Trial of Gabriel Fernandez. Oh my God. I'm still, when they use the word shooketh, I am shook about what happened to this child. Did you watch that, Ray?
I did.
When I tell you, you have to really, mentally prepare yourself for that one. It took a lot out of me to see what happened to him at the hands of his mother, because she was very much the orchestrator, even though it was the boyfriend who took his life.
Yeah.
But all this happened at the hands of his mother. So it shows how his mother failed him, his family failed him, the system failed him.
School system.
That's when I said the system. Everybody, the school system.
Everybody.
The family and children service.
LA County should be ashamed of that.
LA County, everybody. Like this right here, this documentary, behind somebody needs to go to jail. And you know what was sad about that documentary? Because the people that they tried to, like the social workers, I guess I felt some empathy for them because I am a public servant and I'm a nurse practitioner, but I was a nurse for many years. So I understand when you're in a certain position, how everything can fall on the social worker when they have limited resources. Just like as a nurse, it's only so many things that I can do as the nurse. Exactly. But in healthcare, when something goes wrong, even if the doctor does something wrong, they somehow manage to hold the nurse accountable because she didn't tell the doctor how to do their job. So I had some empathy for the social workers, but then in the same breath, I want somebody to go to jail. And it was just easy to blame the social worker, right?
Yeah, but, especially the head guy that was in charge. It seemed like he
absolutely
just had a total disregard towards anything that was like being in charge. He just, I don't know.
You know what I think it was though, Ray? I think it was because when you're overworked and underpaid and doing a job like that, it's like a thankless job. It's almost like public defenders. People talk about public defenders and they do shitty jobs, but they have a caseload out of this world, and I think in that situation, I'm not making excuses, but because I'm a public servant, and that excludes police officers, because that's a totally different beast. I won't even go down that rabbit hole. But certain public servants, I have empathy for them because I myself is a public servant, and certain positions is low hanging fruit. It's an easy target, right? But I will move on. Once again, very good. It's a very heart wrenching story. But I'll move on. Number 4, Self-Made, the Madam C.J. Walker story. I enjoyed it. It was good to see Octavia Spence in that role. I liked it. Some people didn't like it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And it is, it was some historical aspect of it. She was the first Black self-made millionaire. But then, it was it forced me to do a little more research. And then when we later find out that Madam C.J. Walker actually stole somebody else's idea, or based on the Netflix movie, would lead you to think that she stole someone else's idea. So, I love historical pieces. So, yeah. Number 3 was the American Murder Story, where the guy killed his wife and daughter. That one also heart-wrenching. So like I said, I like a lot of crime, mystery, those types of things. So you'll see it in my movie selections, my podcast selections. So I won't go on and on about that one. Number 2 was The Five Bloods. Big Spike Lee fan. Haven't been a fan of his work in a while, but this one, I really, really liked it, and it was good for the culture. It was one of Chadwick Boseman's last performances, and he did a stellar job. So it was good. And then number 1, another crime series, The Innocence Files. Listen, speechless. Did you watch that one too? I
I
think you and I have
did.
talked about that.
I did.
I made that number 1 because it shined a light on, things that we take for granted. Like, when we watch crime shows or we hear court cases and we talk about forensics all the time, this docu-series really shined up for me. Like it indicted the criminal justice system, but it also indicted science. And it really shined a light on forensic science and the holes, and how it's almost a junk science. A lot of the things, a lot of people are locked up in jail for a very long time on junk science.
I
So
agree.
it was a very, very good, very, very good series.
Well, we're gonna skip over top producers for you,
Okay.
and we're gonna move right on into top 5 verses.
Now, once again, because of the pandemic, we, the people, were blessed with the verses. And I say we were blessed.
Can I tell you, that was a major game changer.
Absolutely. Swiss Beat, Timberland, I mean, give them their flowers, because
Right now,
those verses really got us through the
they
next to D
saved
Nice.
us. They
Yes, next
saved
to D
us.
Nice. Let's not leave out D Nice.
D Nice, he sparked it all.
I agree.
He sparked it all, but they took it and took
Knocked
it
it out the
somewhere else.
park.
Yeah, they took it
Home
somewhere
run.
else. Yeah,
Oh
they took
yeah.
it somewhere else that we didn't even know we needed that.
Right. But let me tell you, when these verses, and I'm serious, they were like main events in my house. I would cook meals. Me and D get our drink. Well, we get ready. We listen. We got the TV going, the computer going. Like, we were ready for the verses.
Yeah, that I think that
So
was in most people living rooms. It was an event because like we couldn't at one point we couldn't get out.
right.
We couldn't go. We can't go to no concert. So that was the closest we were gonna get to a concert. Seeing some of our favorite artists, and then like in such a way, it felt like, all right, you got to be in the room with a whole bunch of people that you probably wouldn't have been in the room with in a concert. Period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm excited about this. I hope, because I feel like the verses have lost a little of its steam, because now the world is opened up a little bit and people are moving around. But when at the climax or the peak of the verses, like we were on our hands, like had nowhere to go, you know? So I'm excited to talk about my top 5 verses. So This was another very difficult category to just pick five. I will say I enjoyed the throwback ones the most, especially the 90s. Like that was my early 20s, my heyday. So I really, you'll see so I'm a little biased in that category. So I'll start with number five. Oh, I hate to make them number five, but Snoop and DMX was my number five.
I ain't gonna even say. I ain't gonna even comment.
Listen, are you gonna do yours
I ain't gonna. I'm gonna do all of my everything. I'm gonna do all the
at the end?
categories
Okay,
from the
I
top.
got you. So Snoop and DMX was number five, and I mean, I listen. I'm older. I have an adult daughter, and when I played the music back, some of Snoop lyrics as a woman, I'm embarrassed to know these songs word for word. Can we curse?
Oh yes, most definitely.
Like bitches ain't shit but hoes and chick. I'm like, oh my god, I was cringing but bobbing at the same time. Like I'm, and my kids looking at me like, "Ma," but hey, DMX, he had some. Listen, DMX, he's a very troubled soul, but he is a vessel. God is all in that man, despite his trials, his triumphs. I want to see him win. It was so good to see him in the room with Snoop. It was good. He looked healthy. I wish I could put them up higher, but yeah, it was a very, very good verses because, like I said, most of their hits were my heyday. So when I hear the songs, I remember where I was. It sparked a memory. Oh my God. Oh, I remember we was riding in the box Chevy. It was just, listen, just the great verses, okay? Take me at my word. It was a really, really good one. Number four, Brandy and Monica. We needed it for the culture. You know, did you get to, because did you watch the Dallas Austin Vlad interview? He broke it up into lots of pieces.
I heard him talk about how Monica was about it.
Yes.
Like she was really rough around the edges at the time when they first started working together.
Right. But what I liked about it is he kind of gave the backstory of the whole Monica
Monica,
and Brandy beef.
that fight. Yeah.
Because there was always a rumor, and I was just like, well, they just want women to be against each other. But Dallas Austin, gave us a little backstory. So I was happy to see them in the room once again. 90s college days, just running the streets, being young and free. So those songs just brought back so many memories.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that. Then we get to number three. That Teddy and that Babyface.
It took them twice to get it right, but
hey, listen, despite all the technical difficulties, that thing was bumping. What I wished, I liked the song. Sometimes I didn't like the songs that they paired. Like Teddy, Teddy the King of New Jack, and we up in this thing grooving, we bumping in Babyface. When he'll come on a
he'll
ballad,
slow it all the way down. He'll slow it
what?
all the way down. Like, and when I think about the thing about
I know,
I
and I will say
found
this:
you.
I knew Babyface. Babyface is the man in the industry.
Oh yeah, he
Like
done wrote. He done did it.
produced,
He done
he did it
produced.
all. So I will say I am not a big Babyface fan, but when he started playing, especially songs that he wrote for other people, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. I didn't know Babyface wrote that, but Teddy Riley, man, and let me tell y'all about Teddy. Teddy was all over the place. He couldn't sit his ass down.
He could
He's
not.
running errands. He need a charge. He need this. And then his homie, what was his homie name? The one that was getting the little bop going. What was it, Byron or Baron? Listen, listen. He made the verses, the
I
almost
ain't gonna lie
verses.
to you. They were comedy in verses. Like we weren't even anticipating that side of the verses, but like
No,
the
not at
antics
all.
that came behind the verses and stuff, it was all welcome. I mean, like it
Oh
was
yeah.
beautiful.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So that had listen, I think I made this on my Instagram post. Uh Babyface is like your educated uncle, has 5 degrees. He invests in the stock market. He reads financial journals. He got a 401. He has a portfolio. Teddy Riley's that drunk uncle, got a little weed in his pocket. 10 baby mamas,
Black
got
and
money.
mild in the ear.
Yes, it's gonna be a party whenever he show up. Like when he walk in, it's going down.
Got on some Stacey Adams. Got on
No, no,
Steve
no,
Harvey
no, no.
suit.
I ain't gonna get because Teddy's still here. I ain't gonna. He the uncle with the Kango hat and the Air Force Ones and the velour suit, and you can't tell
Okay,
him.
okay, okay,
You
okay,
can't tell him he ain't here. That's
okay.
Teddy. So I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it when it worked.
When
Because
it
even
worked.
when we got it to work, there were still
Some technical
issues.
difficulties.
But I can appreciate it. Number two is Jill Scott and Erykah Badu, the queens of neo soul. I remember the whole neo soul movement. So it was when I say that was truly a gift in itself because they are both beautiful queens. And it was just so good to have them in the room. I'm not sure a lot of people don't know that story. What was that whole movie? You had the Roots, you had Erykah, you had Jay Dilla, Jaguar, right?
It was Dave Chappelle Block Party.
No, but they all was in the same little movement together. That was a
The
little
Soulquarians. The
yes,
Soulquarians.
yes, that's the word I'm looking for. So, um, what what people don't know is that root song that you see Erykah Badu on that video singing the hook. Jill Scott actually sang the song, and because
Wrote
of
the
her,
song.
yes, wrote and sang the song, and in my opinion, sounds better. And
Yeah.
I love me some Erykah. So, but they didn't put her on the song because of alleged aesthetics. She didn't fit the mold of what the music industry was at that time.
Yeah, that was an
So
industry call though.
absolutely, I know. And so thank God that the industry has evolved, right? Because we wouldn't have the Jill
Truly.
Scott we have today.
Truly. Truly. I mean, like you can see like the embracing of like Lizzo. Lizzo had a good year
Oh
of
yeah,
she went through some shaming, some body shaming, but I
right.
mean, I think as we have seen in most recent years is that you got people that are rally behind you and that body shaming and all that stuff. So I'm be honest with you, I've never thought that it ever deserved a place in the industry because like some of your best talent in R&B was always a big one.
Oh yeah.
So I
I
don't
mean,
even know
even
why they made aesthetics out to be the thing that overruled talent because like
come on, Ray,
at,
you know what it is.
at the end of the day though, we all want the talent. Like
Well, but here's the thing, Hollywood is gimmicky. It's the look. Some people, we all know people that have no talent, but they fit the look. I mean, even back to the Supreme, everybody says what was the lady, the backup, the one that they made the backup singer?
oh, Nancy
Um,
Wilson,
Not Nancy. Was it Mary? Do you know when we watched
Mary Wells,
Dreamgirls?
Mary
Mary
Wells.
Wells. She was the one who had the voice. She had the talent. But Diana Ross, she was short. She was petite. She had a look that they could cross over
I
because
agree.
crossover was always important. So, I've had my own weight issues. And, I remember a few years back when I was especially on the heavier side, I had a lady tell me, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. You should probably smile more. So I was taken aback because I've never ever had someone to tell me that I should smile more. Because like I said, I don't take myself serious. I always trying to have a good time. And she said, I hope you don't think I'm racist when I say this. And there was a white woman. I was taught to be afraid of big black women. She looked me in my face and as if she was helping me, as if she was building me up. And I walked out of the room and I went straight to my office and I called my mother. I said, I'm going to lose my job.
Now,
But
now
my
I'm
mom,
gonna lose some weight. I'm gonna lose my job.
I'm going to lose my job because I'm about to light her up. And my mom was like, no, you're not. So my mom talked me off the ledge, but 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 it's all about that beauty standards, and we don't have to go down that road to talk about what the beauty standards typically align with. But I'm happy to see that the industry has evolved. And my number one versus is Jeezy and Gucci. You see, I got
Okay.
real Gucci. We had
All East Side. The East Side
all
came. It came
East
out.
Side, shout East Side.
I heard
Zone
all
6.
of it. I heard all of it. It came out then.
Boulder Crest. Listen, we needed that. I'm like I said, I've been in Atlanta for over 20 years. I've spent half my life in Atlanta. So, and I'm East Side. Okay. I rep the East Side. So we needed this. We needed this. It got a little tense in there, Um, even though Gucci from Boulder Crest, I was rooting for Jeezy. I connected more with Jeezy. So he was more commercial. I don't think that's the reason why. I just like Jeezy music. Um, so them would you call it reconciliation? I want to call it reconciliation. What do you call it?
I guess you can say it was some type of olive branch truce.
Yeah.
You know, kind of a putting water under the bridge.
Listen, and the reason why I said we needed that because that happened right on the heel of King Von's death.
I agree. I agree because there was a lot of people getting killed at that point. There was a
Yes.
lot of people. It was a lot of people dying at that point, and then of course, we're going through what we're going through with the pandemic and the politics. We needed something that was kind of a builder.
Yes.
Something to kind of like go into 21 thinking like, all right, maybe we might get a G's Gucci Man collab next year.
Well,
I
I
don't
won't
think
take it that far.
I won't
I
think
don't
I don't
think we're
think
there
that'll
yet.
happen, but it could. You never know. I think
Listen, you're right.
as
I need to be
businessman,
optimistic.
they might grow beyond their differences and see a monetary gain. Like I'm be honest with you, if they both were smart, they put all their differences aside and do an album.
Let me tell you, there's cold. You tried to take my life.
I know, and that's the part of the code that allowed Gucci to keep trying to go back into what street life that they both used to like be in. Like that code kept reminding him that you know this dude tried to have me taken out by the necklace, and
Right.
it allegedly, you know,
Right.
we still don't know how much truth or validity was, to all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then some. I've heard that the cats that were trying to take out Gucci took it upon themselves, as being like some little underlings of Jeezy. Like that wasn't no order sent down from Jeezy. Like they took it upon themselves to try to do that. So,
Mm, I
so
believe, I definitely believe it happened because it makes sense because when the whole thing with King Von, did you watch that video? Not to go off on a tangent, but on that video, the guy was trying to take King Von's chain. Like that's a real thing.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So
That's a big. That's like a disrespect thing in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I believe Jesus did that. I mean, I'm as much as he trying to play like he don't know. I don't believe that one bit. I don't believe it one bit.
Well, we gonna move off onto the next category, which
Okie
is
dokie.
top 5 R&B.
Mm. So this one was a little difficult, and let me say because it's like R&B is on
It's on
a
more.
hiatus.
It's on a hiatus, and it's more on a hip hop level too. Like
Right? It's like they blend them together. Like in the '90s, you had R&B.
oh, you knew exactly who was what and what was what.
Right. And nowadays, you got hip hop artists singing. You got Drake. I don't know if Drake R&B, if he's a rapper or whatever he is. Chris Brown. I don't know if he's R&B or if he's a rapper. So they've kind of blended them. So so it's like in order to be successful in any one of those categories, you had to be both. So it's almost like R&B is, I ain't gonna say dead, but it's a thing.
It's thinning. Like it's a dying genre, and it's kind of
absolutely
a genre
dying
that
genre.
Yeah,
Good word to use.
It's something that like even in my top picks, it was blended artists that had like hip hop and R&B type essence.
Mm-hmm.
If their rapping or their hip hop ability seemed a little bit more fluff for streets and it was more commercialized, I instantly gave it an R&B tab to it. Like if you did a lot of vocalized and melodic type hooks and stuff like that, you went into an R&B category for me because R&B need the help. It ain't like you got no crooners, you ain't got no groups.
Right.
It's a different. Like I said earlier, it's a dying genre, but I do feel like it is on
life support.
Life support. It's on life support, but it's got like some people in it that could help save it. If they just, and my list might indicate some of the saviors that could pull it through.
Okay. Well, I hope I'm saying this guy's name right. Is it Giveon? Giveon. I like him. He has a voice, is very, very distinct. He has this baritone.
Insane voice.
Yeah. It's like, it caught me by surprise. Like the first time I heard, I was like, who is that?
I heard him on Drake album.
That's the first time you heard him?
I heard him on Drake album. And I just thought he was like, I don't know who dude is, but he need to be putting an album out, or I hope he got a career already established. I hope Drake is just kind of boosting or spearheading something that is about to happen. But dude is nice.
Absolutely.
Like, super nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's the baritone for me. Like we haven't had any. I can't. Can you think of any baritones? Like I will put.
I can think of one that is kind of a jazz type musician, and Sampha. He did a collaboration with Alicia Keys called, I think it's called 3 Mile. If you get a chance, he got a crazy jazz type voice, and it kind of puts you in the mind of like Giveon, like Sampha.
One of my Facebook friends, I shouldn't say Facebook, Instagram, my cousin that lives in California, it's his girlfriend's nephew. Cause how I heard him on a you know how Apple make playlists for you? That's when I first heard him. And then when his song came out and she posted it, and she posted him, and she said, "This is my nephew." So I should probably reach out to her. Oh, I did comment. I said, "Oh my God, I didn't know that was your nephew." So I know her, and it's her nephew. So I'm really hoping, his career goes far. We need to bring back R&B. So I'm happy to see him on the list, and I'm gonna follow his career and see where we go from there.
Yeah, he nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. Number 4. Like I said, I did not want to put this person on my list because I have this little, and my friends, I make a joke with my friends all the time, especially in the female R&B group. I talk about the Janelle Aikos of the world, or Danny Lee, or what's the other one? I feel like they're breathy. Like they don't really, like for me, Summer Walker, she's sort of in that category, but she has a little more range. But for me, I feel like they have a look, and because they look a certain way, but they're very breathy. Like I don't know, I'm not a singer, but it's something about them that nags me. But Janae Aiko's album is that Chilombo. I had it in heavy rotation. Like it was a couple of songs that kept popping up on my Apple playlist, and I had me go over and listen to the album. Nice album. I'm not even gonna hate. I listened to that song quite a bit during the pandemic. Like I said, I was listening to a lot of music. So I made that number 4. Number 3, Bryson Tiller. I love Bryson Tiller.
Yeah.
Very solid album. Very, very good follow-up album. Listen to the album, did skip a song. So kudos to Bryson Tiller for putting out a good solid work. So it's kind of like he's kind of carrying that torch of R&B for me in 2020. Number two, he's a newcomer. That and I say name, Brent Faiyez.
Faiyez.
Yes. That Fuck the World album. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I like it a lot. And the number one, Teyana Taylor, hands down.
No doubt.
Hands down, Teyana Taylor did her thing. Did she get nominated for a Grammy?
I don't know. I gotta go back and look at that.
Ooh, the sun's falling. Sorry, people. I'll just take it down. Just trying to create a ambience. What you see is what you get.
It's all good.
But yes,
well, you had a solid 5 R&B right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. All the ones you name, I did listen to. The Brent Faiyez is definitely one that I think a lot of people did not give as much listen to, that it probably should have got a little bit more listen. I think he probably would have done better if we had touring.
Absolutely. Now I want to see him live because I love his music.
Yeah.
So he's definitely, when the world opens back up, he's definitely someone I want to see live.
All right. Well, we rolling into the big category.
Oh my God.
This is this this is a backbreaker right here. We gonna go ahead and get into it.
Get into it.
Top 10 hip hop.
Now, I will say, as much as I am a avid music lover, this category was very tough for me because I don't want to say that hip hop is a dying genre either, but the hip hop that we grew up listening to has definitely evolved to so many things. So for me, it's hard to say what's hip hop, right? And so, you got the lyricists, you got the trap, you got the mambo. I mean, you got it all. So I kind of listen to the kind of the same people. So I don't have a large range in hip hop. So this one was challenging for me and kind of pushed me to listen, okay, don't try to put all the same people, So this one was a little challenging, but I tried to make it as diverse because I listen to a bunch of different things. So I'll start with number 10. Mulatto, Queen of the South. And that's with an F. I will say I'm very happy to see where Mulatto is. Like, she's done a lot. And she's making her splash in the industry. And there was a couple of songs on her album was about, I guess I listened to Mulatto because I have a 13-year-old daughter and I hear her playing things. And I was like, who is that? And she's like, Mulatto. I was like, Mulatto who? She's like, Miss Mulatto that was on the show. Because I didn't like Mulatto on the show, Miss Mulatto on the show. But, I kept hearing my daughter playing her songs. So I gave her album a listen. And so Miss Mulatto made my top 10. I mean, I don't know if somebody's going to clown me about it. I may not think that she's hip hop, but
I'm going to be honest with you. You ain't going to get no clown from me at all because I'm going to be honest with you. I think she's going to be the move in 2021. I think she's going to be the female artist that everybody, for one, she's going to do a name change. I think Big Lotto is going to be the move.
Yeah.
She caught some flack about the name Mulatto because of the racial tensions behind it. And I think,
right.
With us going through so much racial turmoil and tension right now, I think this could be a good move for her at this point because she has been kind of tagging herself as Big Lotto in a lot of her songs. And it is catchy. It's like, you can win this Big Lotto.
Listen.
She could really, and not to mention she cute.
Yeah. I mean, she got that industry look that I was telling you about.
And she got a real, I'm gonna be honest with you.
She like a full package because
I like it because she got a South Side sound. We ain't had no South Side
No.
girls that represented in Atlanta. Like not
Thug is South Side, but we ain't not had a girl from the South Side.
female South Side. And
I agree.
we ain't never had a female South Side. I mean, we had like Rashida. I mean, but she would kind of like she kind of
But
blended off.
I wouldn't even say
She
Rashida
she
South
kind of
Side.
blended up. She kind of blended off into the East Coast, but she lived in Clayton County for a while.
I
You
know,
know what I'm
but
saying? So she more rep East Side. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, because she was
So
affiliated with Scrappy and
and
all of them.
and not to mention like she still don't have nearly the success that Mulatto has had so far in
Let me
her
tell you,
career.
Lotto, that queen of the South. Listen, that little beat that I'm from the South. I like if you got a beat that go hard, and I really pay attention to the bass line. And she's associated herself with some heavy hitters. She got a song with Gucci. She got a song with um uh what's our boy that be
Chain,
showing on
she got one with
what's
Chain, 2 Chain.
but what's our boy that be showing out on Instagram? Lil
Uh,
Boosie. She got a
Lil
song
Boost.
with Boosie. She got a
Yeah,
song with City Girl. She got a song with Trina.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
she acts like, mulatto on the come up. So I'm definitely gonna pay attention to her. So I will be remiss if I didn't add her to the list because she's out here working. And we
Oh,
see you, Big Lotto.
we see you, Big Lotto.
Yeah. Number 9, Pop Smoke. Not a Pop Smoke fan because I don't really know his music, but because of his death. And then, like I said, I have a 13-year-old daughter. She plays his music. I hear it. So, Meet the Woo. I put Pop Smoke on my top 10. He had some good songs on there. Number 8, Busta Rhymes, Extinction Level Event 2. I, I, you know, Busta hasn't put out an album in a while, so this was dope. A dope album. I really like.
Anticipated for probably like the last 4 years.
Right.
He
So
been kind of hitting that, putting out this album. Like, all right, every year we get put off, and then he actually delivered. He delivered majorly with such a broad hiatus that he took. I mean, I'll be honest with you. And then when you get to be an artist of his age,
Caliber.
I mean, like it's hard to put out albums when you got such a big difference in the listening and buying listeners. The people who gonna stream your numbers is younger people.
All
So,
right. Let's pause for a second.
well,
Can you pause?
I don't know. You got a bathroom break.
Yes. Pause, please.
You could go ahead and I'll just play some music until you get back.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty. Miss Jones is taking a quick little bathroom break. Not to put a business out there like that, but I'm gonna keep the show going. A little halftime intermission break. I think I might take me a little swig of out this old canteen out here looking like an old army war veteran over here drinking out of canteen. Shit, I'm gonna have to go by the time I do my categories. You never really think of bathroom breaks when you're recording video, Zoom, podcast, or anything of that nature. I'll keep it rolling.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Should have did that before we got started.
Hey, I
The
was just
end.
talking about that. I was like, you never really put in pauses when it comes to bathroom breaks in recording for podcasts or video. Truth be told, I'm usually recording by myself, so I usually pause it because I'm by myself.
Right.
So
We live, y'all. We live. All right.
so where we leave off at?
Oh, I was talking about Busta, especially that one song that he did with the Michael Jackson sample. Just look over your shoulder.
Just look over your shoulder, honey.
Oh,
I ain't gonna lie to
listen.
you, that was hard.
Yes. Look, I played that like I know 10 times, back to back to back. So that was really stood out. Number 7, Run the Jewels. Dope album. Hands down. One of the best albums. I guess I could rank it higher because I didn't play it a lot, but I enjoyed it.
It was a
So
good album. It was a good album. And it came
solid.
like in the heels, like some of the singles, one of the singles was like right off the heels of the George Floyd incident. And it was just like it was something that Killer Mike and LP had made prior to that happening, but it was something that they made after the like I want to say it was after the guy that got killed over the loose cigarettes.
Eric Gardner.
Eric Gardner. They made it after the Eric Gardner killing, and it was just so poignant and fitting for the times right now.
But listen,
yeah, that was a dope album.
I mean, that if we don't change, if nothing change, that song will be appropriate next year in 10 years because history is repeating itself over and over and over and over. Okay.
I agree. It's crazy because it's like a lot of songs that I heard that like Fight the Power was remade over. I mean, and they just added a Rhapsody verse and somebody else to the song. But the original verse laid by Chuck D and Flavor Flav just as poignant today as they were 20 plus years ago.
Absolutely. Number 6, I gave Big Sean Detroit 2. What can you say about Big Sean? Big Sean
is so underrated.
Yeah, but he always deliver.
Always.
He never disappoint.
Always deliver.
Always. So, I mean, what else can you say? What I would like to say about Big Sean is Kanye, cut the shit. Okay? Turn that man loose and give that man his money. Period.
Yeah. And you know what? What I will say to Sean is he been diplomatic about this whole situation.
Hell yeah.
You know, it's
hell
like
yeah.
He has
way more diplomatic than I would.
He hadn't badmouthed the A at all. He hadn't dropped no verses, hadn't said nothing bad about him in that reference. He dropped a solid project. I mean, Detroit 2 was a highly anticipated album for him.
And he delivered. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know why Big Sean is underrated, but he always delivers. So he was my number 6. Number 5 was Chika. Industry Games. I love her. She is who is underrated.
Truly.
She's a wordsmith. She's a lyricist. I just love her music, her rhymes, the content. You know what I mean? She just, yeah, she's an actress. What was the movie she was in? She did really good in that movie.
The movie with Jamie Foxx. It was like Power or some shit like that. It was like,
but she was
it was
also
a Netflix movie.
But she was also in that movie with the little girl in the girl in the classroom. Oh my God, it was on Netflix too.
Oh, the rap battle.
No, they were in class.
That was the Jamie Foxx joint.
Jamie Foxx was in the movie. Remember the girl she was with the motorcycle?
Yeah,
the police officer.
Jamie Foxx.
Oh yes, Jamie Foxx. He was the daddy. Look, I'm thinking about Jamie Foxx and that other movie he did with T.I. and them and all the criminals. What? That was that movie.
I forget the name of that.
That was the movie that was called Power something when he was the crooked cop.
Yeah, but they were giving out the peel.
Yeah, Yeah. All right. But yes, I can't wait for her career to take off like it should. But
Cause
see,
she
that goes, she's,
amazing.
but here's the other thing, Ray. I promise you, if she looked different, and that goes back to that beauty standard and what the industry allow and won't. Like for me, like she can out rap some dudes, kind of like Rhapsody. Like for me,
Oh, she gonna
Rhapsody,
be
I
the
don't,
next Rhapsody.
and that's how I feel about Rhapsody. I don't like for people to call Rhapsody a
A
female
female
rapper.
artist.
I don't like that because Rhapsody for me, she's
I
up
don't
there
know if you
like,
noticed, but she was my number one artist last year.
yeah, I do remember. I do. Like
She's my
she's
number
up
one
there with
artist
like
last
the
year.
Kendricks of the world, the Jay-Z, like Rhapsody is the truth.
Oh, she is. I've met her a couple times. I met
She's
her at CIAA one year, and I met her at Howard Homecoming. I really sat down and had like a real conversation with her at a
mhm.
party at Howard Homecoming one year, and I think she had just dropped Layla's Wisdom, or yeah, I think it was Wisdom that had just dropped, and she was so humble. I mean, and I told her that night, I was like, I don't just consider you like top female artist. I consider you like as a top hip hop artist. Period, man, male or female.
Absolutely. But you know which award show they had her in the category with men? That was BET, right? Was it the Hip Hop Awards?
I think it was BET Hip Hop Awards.
And I thought that was adequate. Like don't
Yeah,
and I this is not a jab at Cardi B, but don't put Rhapsody in the category with Cardi B, Meg Stallion, City Girls. Like, no,
yeah,
that's
she
like an
different.
insult. Yeah, she's different. Like that's an insult to her to put her in categories like that. I mean, don't put her over there. Nope. Mm-mm. That's comparing apples to oranges. And that's kind of how I feel about Chika. I don't, but like I said, I can't wait for her to break out. Like she has the music, she has it. I'm just waiting for that one breakout thing so the world can see. Um, Number four, that 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, pretty solid, pretty solid. But I really like that running,
I ain't gonna lie
running,
to you.
running,
And your
running,
nose be
running,
running,
running.
running,
Listen, and my cars be listen. I
running.
played that so many times. Like I was like, oh, I love that album.
That's a dope album.
So Metro Boomin wants some more. That's I love when I hear that. I get excited. Um,
If your Metro don't trust you, I'm
Trust you,
gonna
I'll
shoot you.
shoot. Yes. So I enjoyed that album. So the number three, Reasons, New Beginnings. Love the album. Play it nonstop, skips, not one song.
I agree.
Love it. Rhapsody, that one song with him and Rhapsody, I can make it. I can I can make it. I can make it. Listen, that's a I played it over and over. I almost made it number one. I'm telling you, I almost made it number one. So it's number
He
three.
he another one I think has got like a really bright future. I think that he is on a good label. I think
Oh,
that
absolutely.
I think he is taking the whole. All right, I am like fourth or fifth in line in this stable, but I'm gonna take whatever shine I can get, and I'm gonna go with it.
Love
And
this album.
he showed on this album. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had heard him on the J Cole Dreamville joint.
Mm-hmm.
I thought even then I was just like, yo, dude, nice. He was on this track called Lambo Truck,
Uh-huh.
and I just thought he had an amazing flow. His storylines were just like super on point, and he was just saying stuff that really made sense. I mean, like, and then him and old dude was talking about robbing J Cole and Top Dog. So it was just like, all right, I'm like, shit. I don't know where he gonna go with his career, but I just know he
Right.
can't go nowhere but up because
Oh yeah.
he had a lot of creativity in his flow, and that's how he remind me actually of a young Kendrick. Like
I
like
was about you took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to
he
say,
remind me a lot of like Section 80 Kendrick,
yep,
overly dedicated Kendrick. I was just
yeah.
like, yo, dude, and when the funny thing is you put me onto that album. Like you
Which
put
one?
on Reason.
Oh, okay.
Cause I remember the day you text me, you was like, yo, you need to check that out. And I remember like from that point I rode to it for like maybe like a week or two, like nonstop. I would just like let it play. And
Yeah.
it was just like it was probably one of the heavy rotation. Like I let something like stay in the car because we weren't in the car a whole lot this year.
Right.
So every time I was in the car during this particular time when that album came out, it was being played.
I like it. I really, really liked it. So, but I'm down to my top two, and you know, it wasn't, me and you had a conversation about this before, because I know when you did your mid-year, you don't want to get Roddy Ricc, no shine for
You
the
know what?
2020.
I mean, that was 2019, but
But no. They dropped that album late December 2019.
all right.
But
It was dropped on
no,
what date?
hey Ray,
December 2019.
but hey Ray, listen, Roddy Ricc has dominated the Grammy, all the music awards, because it was played in 2020.
I agree. I mean, I ain't gonna deny you
Let me
the
see. I'm
right
gonna
to
see
give him his
when the
shine.
album dropped. Let me see when the album
It was
dropped.
like December because I remember you
It was
telling me
December, but I'm talking about I want to know the
you
drop
wanted it on
date.
last year's list too.
No, I did. No, I didn't. Cause it dropped. I couldn't put it on last year because it was only played like 2 weeks.
I know it because that's why I said you wanted it on last year's list. I was like,
No,
I
no,
was like, it
no,
just dropped. I can't give him all kind of shine. He just came out like 6 days ago.
no. When did it
Came
drop?
out like on December 18th or something. Like it was like a week or so before Christmas.
Right. No, it says December 6th.
Yeah, like I know it was like a week or so before Christmas. It was early. It was late fourth quarter, and that was the only
Oh
reason
yeah.
why I didn't. But that song, the box had been out
For a
for
while.
for
Yeah, the box had
months.
been out, but the album itself,
Album is,
that's another
but
album.
what did I come back in and tell you at the end of that? I was like, yo, that was a solid album though. That was like
I still don't skip a song on that album.
that
I
was a
still play.
solid album. Like for
Let me
real.
tell you, I'm talking about from January through July. I played that Roddy Ricc album weekly for 6 solid months. 6 solid months. I played it weekly, a couple of times a week. Very good album.
So what's your
Very
number
good
one?
album.
What's your number one? Do we need to do a drum roll?
Yes.
Do we need to do
Let's
air horns for you?
drum roll. Listen. Yes, let's do this.
Book.
Yeah. Let me tell you my number one. My number one was Lil Baby My Turn. I don't care what y'all say. South got something to say.
Sal got
People don't
something
want
to
to
say.
give Lil Baby his credit. Number one album on my list.
It was a good album.
Absolutely. It was like 20 something songs. Love the album. Lil Baby did his thing. I know I'm not a big hip hop head. I know you can probably have some Benny the Butcher, Freddie Gibbs on your list. Like I said, I don't take myself that serious, so you can see why Lil Baby's my number one.
So what's your top 5 heavy rotation singles in 2020?
Oh my God. So this is in no particular order.
You just gonna throw 5 out there.
I'm just gonna throw 5 songs that I'm sick of listening to. Okay.
Can I tell you something? It about like them goddamn Raphael Warnock and goddamn John Ossoff commercial. I don't want to hear these motherfuckers no more for the rest of the year.
Like, let's get this over with. Between the text,
but I
the
agree with you on
mail,
them
the
singles
flyers.
though. Them heavy rotation singles. And the reason why these songs really, for me, my heavy rotation, because like you said, they worried the fuck out of you all year long with with playing these songs. Like radio spots only play like in tradition about anywhere from 7 to 11 songs per day. Right. I think they shaved that shit down during the pandemic to just 5 per day. And it was the same 5 goddamn songs over and over and over fucking again.
So this is in no particular order. So I'm gonna start. I'm savage, booty, ratchet. Don't want to hear it no more. But It was in heavy rotation. So I'm nothing against Meg Thee Stallion. I'm sick of the song though. Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. Wow. I'm over it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right foot, left foot. I'm sick of it. Sick of the Tootsie Slide.
Yeah.
But have you heard that remix with Fabo on there?
Fabo, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Did you hear that one?
I heard that one. I think it was Friday night on my way to work. I heard it.
And they
with,
put that
Jay Nick
Michael
them
Jackson
show.
Human Nature on there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it on my way to work Friday. I think it was Friday Christmas. Was Friday Christmas.
I like that better than I like the original version.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty hard.
I want some more Fabo on them, but I appreciate them.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a Fabo fan after seeing him on the 85 South show. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you.
It really is smart. I mean,
let me tell you what I when I sent the song to my friends, I said Fabo is the hood praise and worship leader. Fabo.
Real.
So I was happy to see. Fabo on that thing.
What do you say? Bye, bruh.
Yes.
Bye, bruh.
Oh, tat it up, tat it up, tat it up, tat it up, Listen, Fabo. I'm being goofy. Let me stop.
Hey, I love it. I love it.
Oh, that Grow Crazy with Chris Brown and Thugger Thugger. Sick of it.
Stupid song.
Sick of it. Is it heavy rotation? Let me be more positive. Heavy rotation, all right. And I put that Lemonade song on there by Internet Money.
Yeah.
I ain't sick of that, but it was in heavy rotation. I actually like that song. I like the remix and everything. So that's my top 5 heavy rotation for 2020.
I must say, you get a.
All right. Boom, boom.
Well, I'm gonna go through my list relatively quick. I think a lot of mine gonna be self-explanatory because it's gonna have a slide and all kind of other shit that go along with it.
See, he's teacher's pet.
You know what I'm saying? Gotta throw my little twist off on this thing.
Let's see what you got.
Let me see what I can give you. All right. I'm gonna give you the whole spiel like I gave myself. Give myself the same spiel I gave you.
What you got?
Top 5 podcasts.
Okay.
My number 5 is going to be the team over at I Am Athlete with Brandon Marshall, Chad Ochocinco, T.O., Fred Taylor, and Channing Crowder. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I need you. How come you never tell me about this? I definitely need to get on this.
You know what? I initially started watching them on YouTube. Then I started listening to their podcast because a lot of times I ain't somewhere where I can visually look at stuff. So I started listening to them on their podcast platform, but I started listening to them on YouTube.
Okay.
And athletes have the best stories. I don't care.
I know. Look, Chad Ochocinco and Tara Owens. Oh my God.
All of them got some good stories, very compelling. But yeah, they come in at the number 5 spot.
Okay.
Number 4 spot, yours truly.
Right.
I gotta throw myself in the hat.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie to you. For somebody first season in, for me to be at 1 year at where I'm at, a lot of growth and progression.
Absolutely.
A lot of the cats that behind me and a lot of the cats that's ahead of me in this category are cats I look up to. So in this platform, you know what I'm saying? Some heavy hitters. There was a whole bunch of people that, you know how many podcasts I listen to. And a
Right.
lot of people that I cut them out of the category just to put myself in it, because I see myself in that light. So you know what I'm saying? If you don't see it in yourself, then shit, nobody else ain't gonna see it.
Okay.
So coming in at the number 3 spot is my man Tip,
Um, let me tell you, I
T.I.
went back and forth about
expeditiously.
putting them on my list. I really did.
You know, only reason why I'm gonna give it to him because he had just about any major guest that you could think of. So his guest list was great. You know,
I really like T.I.'s podcast. I
yeah,
will say I've kind of fallen off a bit because T.I. has really been doing the most,
he
you
has
know,
been. He has
and I
been.
kind of fell off. But I do enjoy his content, even though he's a male chauvinist in my opinion, I do enjoy his content.
And the show that got beat out at the number 4 spot over all the rest of these in this category was 85 South show.
Hey,
I was gonna put them in by like shit, I want to be where they at. So I put myself in the number 4 spot and I gave Tip the number 3.
okay.
But by my number 2 podcast is All the Smoke.
I've subscribed, but I haven't listened. Tell me more.
Man, you got Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, two weed smoking former NBA players. And the title says it all the smoke. Everybody who they bring on, they want all the smoke. They want all the questions. They want, like I said, athletes tell some of the best stories.
Well, I've subscribed. I just haven't started listening, so I need to get on listening.
So, and
Who's your number one?
my number one is gonna be the Cats with Earn Your
Earn your
Leisure.
leisure. How did I not know?
I'll be honest with you, because I mean, like, they platform is my platform. You know what I'm saying? They sparked everything that I do. I really like what they got going. I mean, like, they kind of got me in the whole wealth building, financial state of mind. You know, I give them a whole lot of props on getting Black people in a point where we need to be thinking as far as financial literacy and wealth building. So,
We
I
need
mean,
that.
I had a shitload of. This was a hard category for me, just like hip hop was hard for you. I had a whole lot of. Your heart may have come from not having enough hip hop artists that you think that you did. I had too many podcasts that I listened to.
I
So
agree. I
I
think
mean,
that
like,
was
I
my
could I
hardest.
could probably did a 10 more honorable mentions, but I'm gonna keep it short on the 5. Those are 5 that stayed in heavy rotation for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say podcast was hard for me too.
My top 5 Netflix is going to be Money Heist coming in at number 5. This is one of my binge worthy. I got caught up on like a couple of different seasons that I hadn't watched previously during the pandemic. And my Netflix list is based off of binging and being pandemically challenged for a quite some time and not being able to leave the house. So um, I did go back and watch some stuff that had been 4 or 5 seasons ago, so it wasn't stuff that was just debuted in 2020. It was just what caught me in 2020. So my number 4 would be The Killer Inside, The Mind of Aaron Hernandez.
Hmm.
Yeah, this, bruh, bruh. I don't even know how to unpackage this one. Cause I mean, like, from the standpoint of where he was going with why he killed himself, he tried to take himself out so that his girl could get insurance money to take care of their kid.
But I
But
thought you can't get insurance if you kill yourself.
all right, it was something with the league where the league was gonna still have to pay him out if he died.
Oh, okay.
So it was something in his contract. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, just to know that what was going on in the mind of this dude playing NFL football with millions of dollars, and he was a hardcore killer. Like
Do you think it was the CT? Because I didn't finish this one. Do you think it was the CTE or he was just a killer?
I think he was a killer because he killed before he got to the pros.
Huh.
He killed somebody when he was at University of Florida.
Oh yeah, that's right. It
So
was like
this
a
nigga
nightclub.
is
Was a
a
stabbing, right?
nah. This nigga shot somebody at a fucking at a after a party in
Okay.
Florida.
I remember something vaguely about that. Okay.
All right. So that's what my Netflix was crazy.
And look how
See,
fancy you are.
my number three is Ozark season 3.
Hell yeah.
You know,
Oh man.
it
I
was
should have
pro-
added that.
it wasn't the best of the Ozarks, the seasons that have been previously played, but
Why not?
it was a good one. Like
Which one was your best?
season 1.
Nah, not this one right here. This
Reason
one
why
right here was.
I'm gonna give this season props is the brother-in-law saved this season.
Oh yeah, he acted his
He
ass off.
acted his motherfucking ass off. Like I had seen nobody act like that in quite some time. Like that nigga had me thinking, I was like, do I got some schizophrenic traits in me? Like had me looking deeper dives into myself. Like
Let me tell you,
serious.
I really enjoyed this season. Even though we didn't get a lot of Marty, we got a lot of Wendy
Got a
and we
lot
got
of
a
Wendy.
lot of Ruth.
Yeah, and a
Ruth,
lot of the brother.
yeah, but I think Ruth and the brother really carried this season.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
My number 2 is When They See Us.
Oh,
Man, it was
heavy,
just it was so
heavy,
heavy, man. It was just such a I don't even know how to unpackage this one. But it was
heavy.
just, it came at the time where I needed to see. I think we was in the whole, the lady in the Central Park had just did the shit with the dog and all that shit when this was out.
Right.
It was a lot to unpackage during this particular time when this one was out. But my number one Netflix show was 846.
Yes. Why didn't I think of it?
This nigga put his heart and soul into what was supposed to be a sketch comedy, but was reality everything, and was just like, I mean, just like penetration to your soul. Like I had never seen nobody come and deliver how this nigga Dave Chappelle delivered with everything that we have been going through. I mean, kudos to Dave Chappelle.
Profound.
You know, round of applause to Dave Chappelle.
Profound.
Air horns for Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. I, I,
And
I don't know how this slipped my mind.
I like I said, it was hard to base, top 5, but a lot of my stuff was pandemic binges. So I gave a little list of some other shows I binged on: The Queen's Gambit, Unsolved Mysteries, Frankie and Grace, Don't Judge Me, Love Is Blind,
You like that?
Don't
I mean, I
Judge Me.
watched it, but did you enjoy it?
I did. Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich,
Oh yeah, that one was
uh,
good.
Dead to Me, Don't
You
Judge
like that
Me,
too?
Don't Judge Me.
Listen, that crazy ass Judy, boy.
Judy was crazy as a
I
motherfucker.
mean, I
Tiger
don't understand
King.
Judy. Oh man, Tiger King did happen. You see, the pandemic's been going on for so long. I forgot.
You forgot all the shit that went on.
Damn, I
Trial,
forgot.
trial
That
by
damn
murder,
fucking Carol Baskin.
trial by murder. The pharmacist, the keepers, and all of the Dave Chappelle comedy specials that Netflix put out. Other than
They were great.
846, he had some really solid
I agree.
comedy specials this year. So I'm gonna give him major props on what he did for the culture. But like I said, he did the whole quarantine concerts and stuff. So he kind of spearheaded a movement like into how we can move forward during the pandemic. So I give him major props.
I agree. Man, the pandemic. Listen, oh, you're right. I mean, the pandemic.
All right, we're moving on to the top 5 producers category that my my guest didn't participate on, but I'm gonna go ahead and
That's
dive
your
right in,
thing.
dive
Get
right
into
into
it.
this thing. You know what I'm saying? My number 5 coming in is Harry Fraud. Harry Fraud, he worked on a couple of projects. You know, he had Currency Project, The Outrunners. He had French Montana's project, Suicide Doors. And he had another rap artist named Larry June called Keep Going. He came at number 5. He was kind of a filler producer for me. There was a whole lot of producers that probably could have got the number 5 spot, but the Outrunners project that he did with Currency was like one of my tops. Number 4 is Wheezy.
What's his? Does he have? What's his
You
tagline?
don't hear this tag, Wheezy out of here.
Oh, Weezy out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Wheezy. He worked on
Okay.
Gunners.
It's good to see a face with him because I don't know what these people look like.
He worked on Gunners Wanna. He worked on Futures and Travis Scott Solitaires. He worked on the 21 Metro Boomin Savage Mode 2. And then he worked on Nave's Emergency Tsunami. That Emergency Tsunami was a underrated album that didn't get a whole lot of play as far as I think it should have got, but it was a dope album too.
I need to check it out.
Yeah.
I've heard a few songs, so I need to check out the album.
And my number 3 is Metro Boomin.
Want some more, nigga?
You know, Metro Boomin had that 21 Savage Metro Boomin Savage Mode 2.
Mm-hmm.
He worked on the Weekend After Hours album. So Metro Boomin is just like I think he didn't have a big 2020, but he had a big album that he did a whole big project on, which was 21 Savage, and it was an anticipated album too. So
He looks
uh,
so young.
he is young.
He looks like quite Quavo, man.
He is young.
Doesn't he look like Quavo?
A little bit. My number 2 is my man, the Alchemist. Alchemist worked on Eminem. He worked on Bodie James. Bodie James probably had one of the better albums, The Price of Tea in China. Rock
Never heard of him.
Marciano, Marcialago. He worked on J Electronica, A Written Testimony.
Now Jay dropped 2 albums, didn't he?
Now J Electronica just dropped one.
Okay.
Conway, he worked on Conway the Machine, the Lulu album. He worked on West Side Gun, Pray for Paris, and he did Freddie Gibbs' Alfredo album, the entire album. So he arguably could have probably been my number 1 producer, but my number 1 producer came with my man Hit Boy. Hit Boy came with it this year. He worked on J
Some big
Electronica's.
ones.
He worked on J Electronica's A Written Testimony. Uh, Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof, Big Sean Detroit 2, Nas is King's Disease, and he worked on Lil Baby's My Turn. And I'm gonna be honest with you, arguably those 5 albums sculpted hip hop in 2020 this year.
I agree.
Like it, like from top to bottom, he had his hands in hip hop in 2020. He
Look, from
he produced quite a few other singles, but those are albums that he really had his hands in. So
I mean, he goes from Lil Baby, which quote unquote mumble rap. Then you got Benny the Butcher, and then
then
you
you got
got
Nas
Nas and
top
Jay
5.
Electronica.
So I mean, he had a wild year, and I give him his props.
No Hitmaker, Hitmaker.
Hitmaker, like I said, it was a whole bunch of honorable mentions in there. Hitmaker, um, Take Key. It was a bunch of producers that I could have probably chose from, but they just had a lot of singles. You know what I'm saying? Like
Gotcha.
they didn't do a whole lot of like the whole body
Project.
of work. You know,
Gotcha. Okay. He had a big year.
yeah, Hit Boy had a very big year. All right, top 5 verses. Now,
Let's see.
this is a category that I'm gonna go ahead and give you the disclaimer. My verses were based off of the ones that I watched.
Oh, I watched all of mine.
A lot of them I watched, like some of them I watched after the fact, but the ones that I really watched in live time,
Uh-huh.
I based it off of live time.
I watched all of my life.
So top 5 verses go as follows. Number 5, Neo versus Jonte Austin. The reason why I gave that number 5 is because nobody who knew who the fuck Jonte Austin was.
Because people were all in the comments asking who he was.
Nobody knew who he was.
I did. I'm shocked that
I knew who
did.
he was. I knew he was a so deaf artist. I knew who he was. I knew who both of the artists was, but I knew that I didn't know that he had the hits that he had. That nigga came to play that day.
Oh yeah.
Like you didn't know who he was, but you left that motherfucking battle knowing who he was.
Facts.
So he got my number 5 off of just that alone. They got the number 5 battle off of that just alone.
Like you know what? Because they were both artists and producers.
Yeah.
So I felt like they were a good match.
Evenly yoked, evenly matched. Even though Neo had
pound
probably
for pound.
bigger name, he had probably had what we thought had bigger hits. That nigga Jonte Austin showed y'all differently.
Right.
He was like, shit
right.
on me you want to. I'm finna show y'all differently.
Right. I say pound for pound, they were the best matchup.
My number 4 would be T-Pain, Lil Jon. It was hype. I don't care what nobody say. Hits for days. They didn't have no dull moments in there, and it was in the thick of the pandemic. Like you got I'm basing mine off of the thick of the pandemic. Like we couldn't go nowhere, we couldn't do nothing. This was your only entertainment, and we were really anticipating them first couple of verses, opposed to like what has been coming down the pipe lately. Like lately, we've been having everybody in the same room with each other, and they got fucking stage shows. It was just off pure. We got hope that we got some good Wi-Fi today.
Listen, they had good stories too.
They had very good stories, so I really like their verses.
I think they were a good match.
Very good match. My number 3 is I know it will probably be the least liked of some people, but Ross and Chainz, I like their verses.
I think they started to be in the same room. No,
they started that thing. They did start.
No, they didn't. You know who started it?
Snoop and DMX.
Bounty Killer and
Oh yeah, they was in Jamaica together.
Yeah, they started it.
So, my number 2 would be Erykah Badu.
My number 2 as well.
Yeah.
We were blessed.
Yeah, blessed. I think that was. It could have been easily my number 1, but it was like it go back to that song with the Roots. I feel like it was fitting to have them on to battle each other, being that they both have had such illustrious careers, and
they were a good match too.
Very good match. Very good match. I said it in the beginning. I said whoever played the Roots song first wins.
Right.
And I think
there was no winner in that one. I think
there was no winner in that one. It was just like, all right.
Well, the fans were the winners because we
won on that one all the way around.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even no. One pulled off from the other. It wasn't nothing like that. They both just kind of stayed right there in the same.
They were in the pocket, you know.
Yeah, they was in the pocket with each other on that one. But my number 1 gonna come with one that you found to be your least liked. I found that to be funny because I was like, yo, it was her least liked, but it was my favorite. It was
your number 1.
Look,
you got the rated R in the corner.
They had so much energy.
Uncle Snoop, definitely.
They had an energy that it was like, all right, go at it then, Unc. I'm with y'all. And like I said, it was during the thick of like we couldn't go nowhere.
But they were in the same room too.
It was in the same room, man. I could appreciate that. All right, we're gonna move this thing on down to. See, I had to go ahead and do a little different. You know what I'm saying?
What you do?
You went top 5 R&B. I'm going top 10.
Let's see this
top
list.
10.
The
top 10,
dying genre. Let's see what you do with
top
it.
10, top 10 because I'm extra and because like you said, it's a dying genre, but I'm trying to show you that how blended it's going to be and how we categorize R&B.
All
All right.
right, let's see.
Number 10 was Brass Tracks. You might want to check these white boys out, but they got had this album out called Golden Ticket, and they had notable features like Common, I want to say like Robert Glasper, like they just a real funked out kind of a duo that got like a lot of horns, just a different kind of sound, but they blended some nice little R&B melodic sounds to it. Um, they kind of dope. Check them out. Brass Tracks by Golden Ticket by Brass Tracks. Um, my number 9 is Robert Glasper. Fuck Your Feelings.
Mm.
It was a dope album.
I haven't listened to it. I'm embarrassed to say I haven't listened to it yet.
Check it out. I think it will be worth your listen. Like I said, some of these is like a combination of like R&B and hip hop, but it's like it's real melodic. You can listen to it like it don't feel like hip hop. And my number 8 is Giveon. When it's all said and done, like you said, for all the reasons that you named earlier in yours, dude just got a sound. He got a sound like none other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I had never heard nobody that sound like him other than like Sampha, and he got like a real rich voice. Like he could
Yeah.
be in like a Gregory Porter. He could do like a different type of music. He could
Right.
do like real jazzed out music with his type of
Mm-hmm.
voice.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Easily.
I think sky's the limit for him. Victoria Monet gonna come in at my number 7. She finally dropped an album behind that one single that she had out, Moment. And she kind of delivered on this one too. Like I didn't anticipate it being what it was, but it came in. Like it had some nice joints on it. And a friend of mine, she has a relationship with her, and she was just like, check her out, even though you had put me on to Shorty with the Moment track a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And
One of my favorite songs.
a friend of mine had put me on to her too. She was just like, yo, she got a lot of stuff coming out in the future. So when this album came out, I jumped on and listened to it. And it was pretty hot. Um, Number 6 is gonna go to St. John. This one I know you probably ain't heard, but if
Nope.
you start listening to it, you're gonna be like, damn,
All right.
damn, that nigga Ray delivered again.
That's
Uh
gonna be my pride. That's gonna be my homework.
While the world was burning. You know what I'm saying? It's a different listen, but St. John is one of them artists that just he kind of put you in the mind of Giveon. Like, he just got a different sound. It ain't like your traditional hip hop. It's got a lot of like melodic type singing in it. I really wish I could play some of this music.
Play
You
it.
know, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Shit. This is gonna be a paid podcast right here,
Okay.
so
All right.
I can't have no infringements on this particular episode. But
Got you.
I really
Can't
wish
mess
I
with
could
your
play.
bag.
I really wish I could play some snippets of some of these songs so you could hear some of them. But um, my number 5 is going to be Summer Walker, Life on Earth. She got so much potential. If she just get her mind right, you know what I'm saying? I'm hearing she pregnant, she got
Mm-hmm.
man issues, all kind of stuff. But sometimes that makes some of the best art when
Right.
people going through some personal issues. But she came in at my number 5. Number 4 is Stretching Bobito and the M19's band on No Request. This was kind of a blend of a whole bunch of different genres. It's got like some like Latin percussion, it's got like hip hop remakes, it got R&B in it, it's got like it was a whole bunch of stuff, but it's like a live instrumentals type album, which kind of gave it an R&B kind of feel to it because a lot of references in the artists that they referenced in this album were hip hop or either R&B artists. So check it out. It's definitely worth the listen.
Okay.
Stretching Bobbito's the M19's band. It was dope. And Burna Boy coming
Now,
in.
how you gonna put that in and R&B?
Let me tell you why. Because again, melodic. It ain't even your traditional hip hop. It's so melodic, and it's international.
Listen, let me tell you why I'm kind of like why? Because I put Wizkid on mine and I took him out because he's like Afrobeat. So I was like, I don't know if it fit, but I had
It
Wizkid
do
in
though.
mine.
It do though because like I said, R&B is not gonna be R&B no more.
Right.
Like
So I should have kept
you could have
Wizkid.
kept Wizkid and Wizkid is gonna be Wizkid has
Gonna
been a
be.
problem. He been a problem for
Gonna
a
be.
while already.
Wizkid is the Drake of
Of
international
Africa.
music.
I agree
Of
with you.
Afrobeat, he is Drake. Like when we were in Europe, we were in Paris. He is Drake.
I
He's
agree.
Drake.
I agree. My number two is Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper, Ninth Wonder, and Kamasi Washington with Dinner Party Dessert.
Yeah, I heard that. I
Dope,
haven't listened
dope,
to it all the way
dope,
through.
dope, dope, dope on all levels. I
Okay.
highly suggest that you have that somewhere in your rotation, somewhere in your playlist, somewhere in there. But it's
Gotcha.
definitely, and it's a short listen too. Like I want to say it's like 36 minutes or 24 minutes or
Okay.
some shit like that.
I started, but then I haven't finished it.
My number one is going to be none other than the great Tiana
We
Taylor.
both had the number one.
The
It
album.
was listen, that was
I mean, just
and
the
it was like
introduction alone, like, Iman Shopper, they delivered a baby on the phone.
yeah, let me tell you,
I mean,
the first time I heard it, I shedded a tear
I ain't gonna lie to you. The
because
first I called Tiffany, I was like, yo, like man, she got me in my feelings right now. Like this whole album got me like I didn't know I had so much emotion that came out of that album.
yeah.
I think
You
her
know, I think
last
it was
couple
an
of
ode
projects
to
have been good.
the 80s and the 90s. You can really tell that she really grew up on that music because she's very in tune with it. Because she's very young. Like, and this is not I feel it in all of her other songs. Like there are a lot of remakes, or you can hear something that she very like the reason why I gave her number one because it was like an ode to what R&B used to be. You get what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
And not only that, she paid homage to like some classic other female artists that she
Right.
featured on the album with Lauren
Right.
Hill
Oh,
and
I love the song with her and Badu.
her and Badu. The track with her and Badu was ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like I said, man. This was a. I mean, she didn't really like the Kanye West album. I like that album.
I did too.
I like
I
that album.
did too.
She did not like it, so
I wonder why.
she wanted to pour her heart and soul into something, and I'm glad she did not like the Kanye West album because we got this shit right here.
Right. Nice. Loved it.
Like
All the way,
it
hands
was
down.
like I said, like shit. If you don't like it, I love this shit. I'm glad you didn't like it because we got this right here.
Absolutely.
You
Best,
know,
I mean, great work. Great work.
but
Great. Just a great album. Great R&B album. The production, like everything about it was great.
I agree. Everything about it was great. All right, moving on to the grandio, the
Oh,
grand
child.
finale.
Because he's a hip hop connoisseur, right?
Big Watt with the chop. That's what they call it.
I know your list is not gonna look like mine. Like I said, I don't
My
put
list
myself
ain't
to
gonna
see.
look nothing like yours.
No, because I know what you listen to. So no.
Top 10 hip hop.
So let's see
And
what
your
this look
boy
like.
coming in at the number 10
You
is
did
J
10.
is J Electronica.
So this is hip hop or heavy rotation?
Nah, the heavy rotation slide came in by mistake.
Oh, okay.
J Electronica, a written testimony. For so many reasons, because for one, we've been waiting for this album forever. Like we've been waiting for this album for like 10 years. So he finally gave us an album. And I think that I wish it had been more to it. And I'm sure it could have been so many more artists that should have filled this number 10 spot. But I'm a big Jay Electronica fan, and I wanted him on my list. Point blank. I'm sure it was plenty more albums that probably should have deserved this number 10 spot, but Jay Lake got it, and I'm gonna stick with it. Number 9 is Reason. New Beginnings. It was like I said, for all the reasons that, no pun intended, for all the reasons that you mentioned, like, dude is so nice. Like, he coming from a great camp. I think he got tons of fuel to fire from with
Right.
other artists that are on his label that are probably beating him down as far as in exposure and sales.
Right.
But I think that's gonna bring out the best in him. It's gonna bring out good art. I mean, like, he had a fucking awesome album, awesome debut album.
Yeah.
So
I kind of feel like he feels that Kendrick void because Kendrick dropped masterpiece. I'm not even gonna say Kendrick dropped albums. Like when Kendrick comes,
Kendrick dropped masterpieces. You said this shit right.
Yep. So he feels that Kendrick void when because we don't get music from Kendrick like
for a
that.
while. Like, all right, Kendrick ain't dropped nothing like since Black Panther soundtrack. So
Yeah. It's
but
time. It's time, Kendrick. It's time. It's time.
I think we're gonna get some 2021.
You think so? I hope so.
Yeah. My next one coming in is 21 Savage and that boy Metro Boomin. Savage Mode 2. I thought this was I thought this was a dope album on so many levels. It kind of spearheaded me back into the gym. Got your boy down.
Little trap.
Hell yeah, got your boy down. You know what I'm saying? Went from 224 down to 212.
Awesome. Trapper size. Okay.
Got me down 12 pounds. Got my Dominique jersey all loose and slim.
Ray was in the gym running.
Seriously. That's one of my motivation songs right there. So I really, really appreciate them cats, man. Metro Boomin, they knocked this one out of the park. 21 like one of my underrated,
Absolutely.
I mean, people don't give him nearly the props, and then they try to slang his name through the mud with all the international stuff.
Yeah.
So like he said, don't let that international shit fool you. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, don't think we ain't got them sticks over
But listen, you know what? And he's so unproblematic. Like, he minds his business. He stay out the way.
That's it.
He make, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate him. It's no real scandal around him. He don't really be in the media like that. He
initially was, I think, early in his career, but I mean, like, shit, he had the point now where it's about solidifying that bread for a lot of these artists now, and I'm glad that they seeing that.
Yeah,
and they taking themselves out of the whole. He took himself out of the whole spending big jewelry, big drip. He that was his whole campaign towards before this whole international exposure stuff. Like
that East Side, that's East Side, shawty.
That East Side, shawty. I appreciate it. My next one is West Side Gun, Pray for Paris. You know what I'm saying? I know you knows nothing about these Griselda boys.
Listen, I've tried to get into this. I cannot.
I understand. It ain't for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
It ain't for everybody. And I tell people that, like, my listening choices is not to influence anybody, but if it's something that you can feel like it can rub off on you, I can give you more information that'll make it rub and make it stick to you permanently. But I mean, it's got to be something that you into, and if it's something that you ain't into, it ain't gonna stick. And I can dig. You know what I'm saying? I've referenced them to you many a times.
I know.
And you have. Like, I don't know about that.
I know. I'm trying.
But you're gonna see that, hey, the world gonna be riding with these cats. Especially, I think if they could have toured, because I saw them early. That was the last concert I saw was Griselda. In 2020, that was in February. Like, matter of fact, the night that the world got shut down, I was supposed to go to a Rhapsody concert, and they had it, but I was like, I ain't going because COVID was out there then.
Right.
So I was like, I ain't going. So I didn't go to the Rhapsody.
Who's in that whole Griselda movie? Is West Side Gun, Benny the
Butcher, and Conway the Machine.
Okay.
And they got a nice little movement coming out of Buffalo, New York. Buffalo is kind of the stepchild of the tri-state area, so
Yeah. They're so gritty. I mean,
they
nothing.
are super gritty,
Yeah.
and they got ski mask music.
That's what I'm saying. I can only take that in doses. Like, it's not something I want to listen to all the time.
Yeah, my number 6 though is Run the
Run
Jewels,
the door.
RTJ4, Killer Mike LP. I ain't gonna lie to you, like two of my favorite artists. Killer Mike is probably one of my favorite artists of all time. This was just a good project from start to finish. It's another one of my heavy rotation gym treadmill albums that I listen to. It's kind of a motivational, kind of a spearhead to my movement.
Love Killer Mike, not even just as an artist, just as a person. He's so smart. He's so in tune. He's political. I really, really like Killer Mike.
My number 5 is going to be that boy 2 Chainz. So help me God.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'd be remiss to not put Virgo God up on there. You know what I'm saying? Chainz is my guy. And
I agree. But I mean, I need to listen to it some more.
it was a dope album. I ain't gonna say it was his best album, but for the times we working with, uh, I give him props because it was so much other stuff out there that probably should have probably got his spot too. But I'm a Chainz guy, so I always go with the people who I like.
Right.
So
And look, I mean, he looks the same.
he do for real, like for real. He just
Look
got
like somebody we
box.
went to school with.
He do for real. Look like some bad little child uses feel period with like look at Ty. He got the Cheetos and all kind of shit, the
And
snacks
it's just
and
like a yearbook picture. Somebody put like the little halo on his knee.
Halo. Like somebody wrote on it. He actually wrote on it. He did his own album artwork. That's funny.
Yeah, that's good.
He took an old proof out of like a yearbook photo. All right, my number 3 is going
Should have
to
known.
be Nas, King's Disease. This is a Hit Boy produced album. Um, just it was a hot album to me. Probably one of Nas's better work. Nas didn't like his Kanye West album either, so he came
Oh,
with King's Disease. Everybody did not like their Kanye West album. Tiana Taylor didn't like her Kanye West album. Nas didn't like his Kanye West album. So them motherfuckers was just like, "Fuck that nigga. We gonna go make some dope ass shit after we quit fucking with Kanye." But
I know.
my number 3 is going to be Bus a Bus
Buster Rhymes.
Extinction Level Event 2. Anticipated album. Been anticipating this album for quite some time. He delivered. I thought it was a grandiose, beautiful production. Like you said, the track. I wonder how much he spent on budget because, like, to
Yeah.
get that shit cleared for fucking Michael
Yes.
Jackson,
Yeah.
nigga.
And it was so dope though. Doom, doom,
He
doom,
had he
doom,
had
doom.
some samples in
Mm,
his shit.
mm,
I was like, shit, this
mm,
nigga
mm, mm, mm.
spent a lot of money on his budget as far
Yeah.
as samples and shit.
I mean, I to be honest, A Ray, I played that song so much. I should know the words of it. I just played it just to hear the the track. Like, I would have just listened to the instrumental. Like, they did such a good job with the track.
I agree. That was a dope album.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Freddie Gibbs,
Should have known that.
Alfredo, produced by the Alchemist, which was my number 2 producer.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But Freddie
We
Gibbs
see the
is like,
correlation.
yeah, there's definitely a correlation. Freddie, like, Freddie, like one of my guys. You know what I'm
I
saying? Like,
know. I know.
I rode with him so hard, and I think he had a beautiful 2020. He put out a lot of videos. He did a lot of like social media exposure. Um, even still taking shots at Jesus, still taking shots at DJ Academics. Like this nigga just like, and he funny as hell. Like he is hilarious. Like you follow him on IG, this nigga is hilarious. He got some videos out to this Alfredo project and to the last project that he did with Mad Lib. Uh,
Mhm.
um, he got some videos out that are real funny to both of those projects. So check out some of his videos. He did a joint with Rick Ross, was kind of like a Queen of Slim um remake. So like I said, his movement is definitely. I wish we had got touring because, like I said, he was an artist that was on my slate to go see pre-COVID, and then COVID wiped him out too. So
Yeah. My cousin's husband, or he's my cousin. He's a big Freddie Gibb fan too.
yeah, Freddie's that guy. And my number one
Drum
last.
roll, please.
Hold
What
on
you
a
got?
second. Hold on a second. We finna blow the motherfucking air horns out on y'all. I tell you, we air horn in this motherfucker out.
What you got?
My number one selection go to none other than Griselda's very own Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof. Album done by Hit Boy. I don't know what to say other than it was a well deserved project. You like I say, you don't really follow the movement like that, but if you know like from where they come from, you know, Buffalo ain't producing no hip hop artists. So I mean, they got a real good story. This guy more so, I think, if you want to listen to anybody out of their group, out of their movement, listen to Benny more so than West Side or Conway. So
Okay.
Benny, then Conway, then West Side. West Side to kind of throw you off because he got kind of a flamboyant, flashy kind of style, but Benny is real, like he relatable. Not to mention he live here in the A too, so he cool. So
But
super,
he's gritty.
super gritty, super duper gritty, super duper gritty. All right, I'm gonna give you some of my hip hop honorable mentions. Um, Royce the 5'9", the allegory story. The allegory. That was a probably nobody really talked about that one. Boldy James, the price of tea in China. That was an alchemist joint too. T.I. the Libra joint. Then Dave East, Don Tolliver, Drake, Conway the Machine, Currency, Big Sean, Detroit 2, the Spillage Village Project, um, Black Thought, Goody Mob. I threw Goody Mob in there because we got a 3,000 verse. We got a big boy verse in 2020. So Young Jeezy, Mulatto made my honorable mentions. The Baby, Lil Baby, Ciroc, and Kid Cudi. It was a couple others that probably should have made it, and I'm sure I left some people out that I listened to in heavy rotation. It was just like I was writing these honorable mentions like really fast, so I didn't really get to put everybody in there that I wanted to put in there. But for the most part, these are my honorable hip hop mentions. And the last category is going to be my top five heavy rotation singles for 2020. And my number one heavy rotation single
Oh, I like that song.
is by BRS Throat Baby. And I got a
I
story
like that
behind it.
song.
I got a story behind it. All right. So I'm in a store one day and I'm humming the song. And this girl, she started laughing. She was like, oh, that what you on? And I started laughing back. I was just like, "Go, baby!" She's like, "You ain't heard the dirty version." So about a day or so later, I'm on Sirius XM one morning, and I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Like I go to the gym like super early when ain't nobody in there.
Uh-huh.
So it came on like before Sway in the Morning came on, and it was the dirty version, and I was just like, "OMG!" Like I got hyped. I was just like, "Oh God!" Like this nigga talking about throat babies. Like,
Yeah.
oh God. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was like my number one guilty pleasure heavy rotation song, followed by the Jack Harlow West Poppin remix, followed by Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, WAP. Then my number 4 would probably be Two Chains and Mulatto, that quarantine thing. It's just something about how that song hit.
Yeah.
Like that quarantine, it's the way she come in on that joint too. She come in like she really eats that alive. And then
Yeah.
my number 5 is that Chris Brown, Young Thug, Go Crazy. Like that's a crazy song. Like that song got super heavy rotation.
Yeah.
And my bonus
It's
song,
everywhere.
my
Didn't
bonus
you know they had the
song,
little song, the little dance to go with it?
yeah, it had like a little dance, like a TikTok type feel to it.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
TikTok was heavy. We should talk about TikTok. Like TikTok, if TikTok is like a stock, I know it went through the is TikTok on the stock?
I don't know. I don't know if it's
Because
publicly
I'm
traded.
saying if it is,
It's a
I'm pretty
China-based
sure.
company, so I don't know if it's U.S. publicly traded. But my
Gotcha.
bonus single with a message was "Lil Baby," the bigger picture. I thought that was just a really, you know, instrumental, you know,
Mm-hmm.
with
It
the
was
flow.
appropriate too for the time in the
Yeah.
racial climate.
But yeah, that's gonna wrap up, my thoughts on the list, man. And we running right at 2 hours.
Really?
We're running right
Oh,
at 2 hours. So, it was I ain't gonna lie to you, you had some thought provoking ones, but I'm gonna list both lists in the comments. I'm gonna give, you know, both our social media plugs under each list. But I thought that we both had some pretty interesting choices.
absolutely. Yep, I agree. And
But
thanks for inviting me, having me. I
oh
appreciate it.
no, the pleasure was all mine. But I am going to end it on my last slide of the night.
Absolutely. Make sure you go out and vote January 5, 2021, and get those early votes. Get out there, my Georgia people. Georgia people.
Georgia people. And thank you to everyone that tuned in to my podcast in 2020. This by far was the most challenging year of all times. Music and the culture is what got me through. Looking forward to the return of live shows and festivals, sporting events, and outdoor gatherings in 2021. Please continue to follow, share, and like my movement. I can be reached on all social media platforms at the In Due Time Podcast and at Raydeeant Media. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Raydeeant Media. All right, friend. Thank you for being a part of my 2020 Raydeeant Media year-end music review and culture wrap-up show.
Absolutely. You've evolved from a Facebook post, right?
Girl, girl. My boy, let me tell you something. One of my boys told me, he like, man, you gonna take this shit, you gonna have this shit like a whole Channel 5 news by the time next year. I said, look at this shit. Here I am on video, got a whole slide
Zoom.
presentation, got the audio and the goddamn video podcast production, and got a guest and a field correspondent.
Okay, okay, okay.
What 2021 looking like? It
What
looking
it look
good.
like. All right
Uh
now.
now we got some highly anticipated episodes that man you want to tackle next season.
Absolutely.
But a couple of the ones I'm gonna definitely let the cat out the bag. We're gonna be talking about credit cards, and we're gonna be talking about travel, like where we think the state of the world gonna be when we start back traveling. And I
Yes.
already talked to Maisha, and I'm trying to set up a nice travel episode where I can probably get both of y'all on. So hopefully the
Sounds
world will
good.
open up by that time we can all be face to face. So
Absolutely. Can't wait.
I can't wait. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So
Uh,
welcome.
I appreciate you. you know, you don't understand, man. Like your support, you know what I'm saying? It go beyond just our personal friendship, you know what I'm saying? But when you support somebody doing that, you know, a lot of people ain't really subscribing to right now. You know, we ain't got no big audience, but you know, you entertain your boy. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime. Take care, friend.
And on that note, I'm out.
All right. Bye.
Peace.